Yeah, I think the first 24 hours, there's no doubt there's a lot of frustration, and it's how do I deal with it? I'll be dirty with myself if I know I could have been better than what I was, and it was my control. No doubt about that. I get pretty dirty with myself, and I think I'll probably give the game away when I know I'll lose that desire to be the best I can be, I suppose. But I talk about it with my teammates. If we've got real frustration, and often you have frustration with your teammates because you think they didn't have a crack, or you think you get really annoyed with them. So you've got to get it out. That's what I found, and I'll get it out best by just talking about it and expressing it with someone, and whether it's my teammates or one of the coaches or my wife or whatever, and getting that out. And as I've got older and I've had more experience with the footy caper, I think I've got better at getting rid of that baggage early in the week. Whereas when I was younger, I'd get to Wednesday or Thursday and I'm still dirty at my own performance or whatever it is. So I've learnt with time just to get it out and talk about it earlier, and it's not the end of the world. It's fortunately in what I do, there's probably a game the next week that you can prepare for. So
So you refocus and get on with it.
Yeah, refocus and pick from it, learn from it what you can, and
do you kick the cap? Like, how do you get your frustrations out? Just talking about it, or you go home and you kick something, or you got a punching bag, or?
I like to go outside and have a walk. Get
really?
Out and go for a walk and clear the old head, and that's something I like to do. Yeah.
Cool.
Brendan, Simon, the last time you were at the Shed, you were part of the player group that went to Vossi and said, mate, we've got a few more seasons in us. We need to buy some more mature players to give it a crack. And they all broke down almost. And one of them was Brendan Favola. And we're all disappointed that didn't work out. Could you just say a little, because you were part of that, and Vossi sort of had his head on the chopping block for a while over it. Could you just talk a little bit about that? Because that would have been fairly personal for you too. And what do we learn out of it? How do we help a Brendan Favola? How do we do better at that sort of thing, because we're now paying the price to where we want to go.
Yeah. Look, Fev, he sort of, I think he's got a few of his own, obviously some of his troubles that he's been working through, and for Fev, for us in a footy sense or a business sense, he just wasn't putting in, and he wasn't being able to. Some guys I've seen over the years can have some troubles away from work and come to work, and they just it's their escape, I suppose, and they can contribute and do what they need to do. But Fev had a lot of stuff going on, but I think he just got to the point where we lost trust in him, and the footy club lost trust in him, and he'd talk, he'd say this, I'll do this, I'll do that, and it just wouldn't happen. So. The thing with any workplace, I suspect, is a big part of it is trust, and we lost that with him, and it was sad to see him go. Obviously, the saddest thing with Fev, he's such a talented footballer, and he's obviously wasted the opportunity.
And everyone pays a price when someone lets down the team. What about our young champion ruckman, Leuenberger? You've got a good old tough old horse there with him now, Hudson. Is that going to help him be a better player, Simon? Yeah,
I think so. Louis took some fantastic steps in the last 6 weeks of the year. He was probably, one of the very best ruckmen in the competition the last couple of months of the year. So Louis got a lot of good years ahead of him, and I think having this other guy, he's 32, he's from the Western Bulldogs, so he's a old fellow like myself, and he'll just give him a chop out. He'll just probably play 30% of the game in the ruck and give Louis a rest. Louis will play 70% of the game and Hudson 30%,
Another footy question, player management, right? If you put the big pool of money here, the total money that goes to the players, and you put all the players over here, and in the middle you had all this player management stuff, is player management worth all the money and all the dramas, and is there something better that can happen? The money that we're spending on your manager?
Yeah, the average player manager probably gets, 3% of a player's contract that they sign, and so it's not a massive amount. Well,
depends who the player is.
Yeah, I suppose, but that's sort of just the way it's worked for years, and I don't know how to answer that question, but some guys probably negotiate with their manager differently, but that's sort of the general rule,
Hey, when you were a young bloke and you had your dreams and all that kind of thing, what was it like to run out in the MCG for the first time?
Oh, it was incredible, Dunks. I went to watch the Eagles in the 1994 Premiership against Geelong, and I had Schumann's disease in my back that year and couldn't play sport for about 12 months. So I remember turning around to Dad and saying, "Imagine running around out here one day." And I was 14 or 15 at the time, and 4 or 5 years later, I was lucky enough to do it for the first time. And I was packing dacks, mate. That's what I was doing. I was muscly 73 kilogram guy, and I think we played against North Melbourne, Wayne Carey and Corey McKernan, and they were the premiers of the year later, Archer and all those guys. So they were good footy side, and I was a bit intimidated, but it was a dream come true and made all the hard work over my youth worthwhile. Yeah,
because dreams are so important, whether you're playing sport or in business or whatever you're doing, and it's those moments that you really sort of need to cling to in your memory banks, isn't it? When you're fulfilling it, and when you're out there and you can't, your skin is full. You're full in your skin.
It is, Dunks, yeah, and it just makes all the hard work and the preparation and the goals that you set along the way worthwhile. Because obviously, like you would have experienced, not every day you feel like jumping out of bed.
Yes, well, let me tell you all about it. But those sort of dreams are so important because, when we get away from our sport, or if you're lucky enough to be in sport professionally, and then you leave it, you miss it. You miss it a great deal, and you being 32, you must be really soaking up almost every time you run out there in the uniform at the moment, knowing that, whether it be 2 years, 3 years down the track, that it is going to stop. And we've seen so many players and so many Olympic athletes, and no matter what your sport is, struggle after retirement because there's just nothing to replace it.
Yeah, absolutely, Dunks. Yeah, you're right. You've got to appreciate because particularly in a pretty physical game, you can do your knee or whatever, and your career can be over. So you've got to really appreciate what you're doing and feel very fortunate for it. And
what do you reckon? We talk about dreams and goals and all that kind of thing in sport so much, and it's so important, and yet away from sport and in corporate life and fatherhood and being a husband, we don't talk about dreams much at all. It sort of becomes unfashionable. It's almost wimpy to sort of say, I've got a dream, I want to do this. And, your mates go, oh, okay. But in sport, we go, what's your dream, son? And the kid comes out and goes, I want to be the best there ever is. And you go, good, you're on the way. And it's acceptable.
Yeah, I reckon in sport it's more measurable. Probably, it's probably a factor. Things can be more measurable, but...
how many guys here talk about their dreams regularly to their family?
Yeah, I've got a
to their
dream.
mates.
Yeah.
You walk into the pub, you grab your beer and you go, mate, I've got a dream. Then your mates go, you've had enough? Put their hand on your scooey. That's it for you, buddy. Piss off.
I've got a dream to see, like we're doing today, filling the stadium.
Yeah.
Filling the stadium. Changing the nation so that when Simon's finished his footy... Simon's a better bloke than he is a football player. You're hearing that now, the quality of the man. You don't read the back page about the problems that Simon Black's going to incur on society. And the dream is that we men are good enough in our identity, no matter whether he hasn't got his football gear on today. He's Simon Black, he's just a good bloke. And whether he walks down the road, whether he's a great footballer or whatever, he's a good bloke. And that's the identity that we really need to hold on to and support each other. And blokes like this, they can be lonely because they're at the top and we can think they're untouchable, but they're good men. Simon's a businessman. He is the Bank of Queensland Kalanga branch man, and I noticed he sneaks in there every Thursday, don't you?
Oh, yeah, every couple of weeks.
Joey reckons you're bludge on him.
Yeah.
So, for any of the locals that want to get over the Kalanga branch, you got any special deals that you can sign up?
No, they're very stingy.
Yep.
BOQ.
Can we mention your name at the Bank of
That's right. Go and ask Joe for a half-price loan.
Half-price loan. You got that, Ernst? So how do you cope? How do you keep that part going? Have you got... Are you studying business management, or are you going to be like Mike over there, you trust God in all your business deals and put a bit of heart into Joe and make sure you invest into the people that work for you?
Yeah, it's certainly a lot of the aspect of it. What I like, I obviously don't have a background in it, and it was an opportunity came around through Joe, and thought, I'd love to get involved. So I don't pretend to be an expert in the finance industry, and I don't know if it's something I do post footy. I'm not sure. I have probably an interest in development of young guys in the footy world. The young guys that come in, I think you can have real influence on the 15 to 18-year-old age bracket, and you can really see the development, the difference in that. So that's probably the path I'll go down post footy.
Now, was it 3 years ago when you come to the shed up at Truckyard?
Yeah.
And I asked you about God, and you were, and one courageous thing that you said to me there, what are you asked me any question, no restriction. And you were telling me you're getting married, you got an angel woman now, and now you got a little boy. How are you and God been since we had the last little talk?
Yeah, good. I still pray most nights and things, and sort of been. I went to church. Mum took me to church when I was a young fella, and that's probably started my faith, if you like, from a young guy. And Catherine's the same, but we don't go to church as much as we should. We're getting a little lock on Christian tomorrow morning, so that'll be good fun.
Oh, good stuff. Awesome.
I'm very obviously grateful for the things I've got in my life, and I thank him for it. Yeah, quite regularly.
You left us up on the screen there. You said you live by a good motto, and you said that it's the choices you make, not the chances you take, that determine your destiny. Did you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've told every young bloke around Australia, wherever I go, and say, Simon Black has this hanging on his wall. It's the choices you make, not the chances you take, that determine your destiny. Have you got any other thing like that, these young men, the real young blokes here, that can actually put on their wall or hang on to inspire them a little more?
Well, just on that one, right? I just, I like anyone can go a bit wayward at times and with whatever it is. So for me, it's just a little catch cry that can help you refocus, if that's the word, or it's probably making you think about the consequences of your actions. That's probably what it is, mate. And that's probably the best thing about it.
Still works. Yeah,
it still works. Yeah, and it's simple, it's basic, and when I think about it, I think, it's probably a good creed to try and live by. Yeah.
That'll